from Kev's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. Yeah, man. So here I am, guys. I hope you're doing well today. Let me see something here, make some adjustments. And make an adjustment right here. There we go. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And he saw the light. And he said the light was good. And all of that good stuff. All right. Now, if this is your first time joining the show, please hit the like button. This one's bright. You turn it down. Got to turn it down. Yeah, there's technology these days. These crazy kids and stuff. I don't want to look like I'm doing a horror movie. It was a dark night in July when... I don't want that. So let's see here. Okay, well, I guess you can't turn it down. I'll figure it out later. I'm messing with this. Now I'm green. Yeah. Now I'm red. Woo, look at that. Fancy. Oh, shoot, blue. All kind of colors. But I prefer black. Now, don't forget to hit the like button and make sure that you share my videos. Let me go ahead and see if I can see myself. Yeah, somebody said J6. Boy, I tell you, they won't let it go, y'all. Yeah, the more I try to go ahead and move on, the more they pull me back in. They're like, yo, this J6 thing, we gonna beat this horse to death. We gonna beat this thing like Balaam beat the donkey. You remember that story in the Bible? I never forget, there was a preacher in Cincinnati many years ago. Somebody said, when my video is gonna flip? I don't know. The YouTube ain't working with me. So I just been flipping it in the software. But yeah, I remember years ago when I lived in Cincinnati, there was this preacher and he was up there preaching about the donkey, Balaam and the donkey, or he called it the ass, right? So he's like, and Balaam jumped off that donkey and started beating that ass. I mean, he was beating that ass. Whole church congregation cracking up. I don't understand how he didn't realize how this was coming out. It was hilarious, man. So he got done with that, and all we can remember from the whole sermon was Balaam was beating that ass. I laughed my butt off. So yeah, I have no idea how I got on the donkey. I forgot I said something and it made me think of that story. Now, if you can, hit the like button, share my videos, and go to my corner store if you can. Check that out. I want you to buy some stuff. I want you to buy some stuff. I'm gonna start coming at y'all like I'm selling, chocolate when we was a kid, or Girl Scout cookies and stuff. Will you buy some? Will you buy some of this chocolate for $1? I ain't got no dollar. Can you give me $1? If I ain't gonna buy the chocolate for why would I give you it? Get out of here, kid. You know what? Forget you then, punk. So yeah, I'm gonna start asking y'all to check out the store. And if you can't support the channel other ways, please do so through my Cash App and my PayPal. Now, with that being said, I'm assuming y'all can hear me. So let's go ahead and get busy. Yeah, man. I'm gonna get back like that gorilla right there. Start. Yeah. What? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now, I went through all the preliminaries except for the phone number. If you get a chance, text MAGA to 330-974-4607. All right, to be in touch with Kevin. All right, and then finally, I think that does it. Please subscribe and make sure you set your notifications to all. Now, guys, you know what? It's time, guys, for That Didn't Age Well. Now, I'm pretty sure I flipped this, but let's see. Anyway, I ran across a clip today, and I said to myself, yeah, that's a good point. Trish, I think Reagan, yeah, she was playing this, and she said that fake crapper owes Donald Trump's daughter-in-law an apology. And she showed the clip, and I knew exactly what she was talking about when she said it, before she even ran the clip. And I said, I know what it is. Fake crapper decided to come out and try to gaslight the heck out of us years ago when we all saw Joe Biden breaking down Mentity. And he had the nerve to come out and throw out the craziest narrative ever and try to go after Donald Trump's niece, Laura Trump, because she was calling out, that nonsense. So let's see how it aged. Yeah, man. Time for that didn't age well. That's what I meant to say.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
Not me.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
Now, do you see that nastiness right there? See, this is why this didn't age well. See, he had bad intentions. Now, he plays a clip of her talking about Joe Biden. And this dude comes out of nowhere talking about how do you think it make kids feel when they see you playing a clip of that and you're making fun of people who got a stutter. As if she knew that Joe Biden had a stutter. If anybody knew that Joe Biden had a stuttering problem, did you? I didn't know. All the years I've been seeing him out before his brain broke, I never caught him stuttering. I never seen no news story covering him and his stutter, his life growing up in Scranton, where he suffered from a stutter. Nobody knew about this stutter until he started breaking down Mentity, and they needed a convenient excuse of why he was out there talking like Porky the Pig, making up words, forgetting stuff. So what did they do? All right, here's what we're gonna do. Let's send out fake crapper to attack Laura, yes, and tell her it's the kids. By you recognizing Joe Biden can't talk right. Yeah, how do you think it make kids feel? See, this right here is that nasty, stinking tactic. Yeah, let's go to the kids. Let's go to the vulnerable. She wasn't thinking about no kids when she made that comment, but he wants to go ahead and jump right to her character. How do you think it make kids feel?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It makes
look at him. See, look at that. Okay, like I'm not gonna sit here. And tolerate that. Somebody just put in the notes. Did anybody see Nancy Pelosi come in with that walker? Evil don't die. That's the whole point of it. Nasty's too infested and petrified with evil to kick the bucket. Shoot, Nasty came up in that mug with that walker. Guess who's back? Nasty's back. And I want to make sure I take my medicine for my hip. She's medicating real good now for that hip. Yeah, man. Every couple minutes, she probably like. So anyway, let's get back to this bum who's pretending that he's defending people with stuttering problems for some reason. And look how he is so condescending to Laura. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to say. All right.
You are no. It's so amazing. It's so amazing to me
and try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
But when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Now, here's the crazy part about this. This is how fake and disingenuous this bum was, and he still is. See, that's why I never give him credit when he actually tries to report accurately, because that's the moments where it shows he was faking all of this. Yeah, when he reports accurately because of default or because he has to, it shows that really he wasn't dumb enough to actually believe that Joe Biden was running around with a stuttering problem. Now, if he was really being genuine, he would have asked her, were you aware that Joe Biden had a stuttering problem before he attacked her? See, but he came right in, straight off grip. Didn't even ask her if she knew anything about a stuttering problem or anything. Just straight up, how do you think it makes kids feel when that you make fun of people with a stuttering problem? She's probably like, what does this have to do with Joe Biden? So here he is now, not gonna let her talk. He's straight up going in on her for whatever.
You're mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses, diagnosing politicians from afar.
Now, do you see how much of a hit piece this is? Straight hit piece. Jump straight in there, attacking her, won't let her talk, won't let her explain. None of that, because he don't want her to make sense in front of his raggedy audience, especially back then. If she would have got a chance to explain, then it would have diluted the whole purpose of the hit piece. So he had to keep her on the ropes with just keep talking over her, keep talking. Now, you know, okay, and you know what, this and this and that. And she's trying to talk and explain it. He don't want them to actually hear her say, have you listened to Joe? He don't want them to listen to her and say, maybe we should go and listen and see what Joe's really talking about. Because it's obvious that their voters never paid attention to Joe until that debate. I mean, because you had people shocked that Joe Biden was that bad. But Laura wasn't shocked. Neither was I. But fake crapper pretended he was shocked. So now here he is jumping all down her throat, talking about you attacking stuttering people.
Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar, I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
You just talked about a cognitive decline.
You just talked about a cognitive
decline.
I have one last question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage.
Now see, you know what? This makes me want to defend a woman's honor right there. If I was on that set, I would take off my glove and smack his face and challenge him to a duel. Don't you interrupt the lady when she's talking. Don't you use that tone of voice. You better be lucky that if that was my wife, I know Jared, he's a man of honor, but if that was my wife, I'd be like, yo, waiting outside of CNN when fake crapper come out. Hey, yo, fake, come here for a minute, man. Can I talk to you? I thought, yes, what's going on? I saw you do the segment with my old lady, man. I ain't like that bass you had in your voice, and I ain't like you coming at her like that. Now, what I want you to do is go on television tomorrow and grovel. That's what I want you to do. Beg her forgiveness. I'm going to be right here standing next to your vehicle when you get off work tomorrow. You understand that, fake? So fake tried to go ahead and just go in on her. Go in on her. But listen to how things have, you know, evolved recently.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura,
sorry for Joe
Look at that,
Biden.
cutting her off.
There is a pattern, discernible pattern of Democratic officials seemingly trying to convince you, the public, to not believe what you saw and what you heard with your eyes and with your ears.
You mean you? Don't you, fake crapper, be trying to tell us it's Democratic members and this and that. No, you're one of them. Now you see how fake had to come out. See, that didn't age very well. He went all the way in on her, said that what she saw wasn't what it really was. And then when they needed to get rid of Joe Biden, now all of a sudden he's able to assess things accurately. Now he's up there accusing Democrats of doing what he did to Laura. He's accusing them of pretending they're not able to see the obvious. They're trying to convince you that what you saw and heard wasn't real. No, you did that, fake, talking about a stuttering problem.
On Thursday night.
What I've been able to do with the COVID, with
I love this.
dealing with everything we have to do with. If we finally beat Medicare.
Y'all hear that? We finally beat Medicare. So did y'all hear the whisper? Come out there trying to mumble through some stuff and then hit us with the, you know what? When in doubt, pull the parachute. Just throw out the last thought in your head. We finally beat Medicare. Look at Trump.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Democratic officials have tried to spin this in many ways. They said President Biden just had a cold.
Or could it be President Biden has a stuttering problem? Huh, fake? See, now I got to come and defend Laura because she ain't coming back on your raggedy show to bring it back up. So I'm bringing it back up. So just like you, fake crapper, tried to get us to believe that it was something else, like a stuttering problem. But now you up here trying to say that any Democrat that is not able to recognize Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline, they're gaslighting you. But your assignment was to gaslight everybody. And the only reason you switched it up is because they told you to. They said, all right, it's beyond repair. And we need to get the rest of the Democrats who is still out here supporting Joe Biden. We need to get them to turn and say, let's push this dude out. And the only way we could do that, fake, is now you got to report what is really going on. So here he is acting like he didn't participate in any of this.
They said it was just one off night, akin to when President Obama in 2012.
Or they said he had a stuttering problem.
Huffy. But behind the scenes, make no mistake, most Democratic officials witnessed the same shocking spectacle that you did.
Oh, you mean like Laura witnessed the same shocking spectacle years ago before this ever was on stage at the debate? But what did you do when she witnessed it? That you know what, that you can't diagnose people from afar and this and that, and this is right, he got a stutter problem. Why couldn't you recognize it then, you fake rapper? That's what I want to know. And you did recognize it. Because she did, I did. Wouldn't you like to recognize it too? Everybody recognized it. Yeah, but fake couldn't recognize it because he interpreted it as a childhood stuttering problem. Yeah, and then he cut her off. Now, I want an apology on behalf of Laura Trump. That's what I want. But let's continue exposing this big fake hypocrite.
The difficulty that the presumptive Democratic nominee, the current president of the United States, had just articulating his basic thoughts during the 90 minutes of the debate. The spinning is all very reminiscent of the George Orwell quote from the book 1984 that I invoked 5 years ago for a different situation and a different president. It's relevant again today. Quote, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. We're not going to do that today.
Now you hear this hypocrite using references that apply to him. 1984, I'm going, we just watched you be a character in the book. You're one of the people that would have been on the news station like, today in the news, your responsibility is to believe whatever the system and party tell you to believe. Fake crapper is a part of that. It's funny how they use things that they themselves are guilty of or are part of their own strategy. They get out there and be like, Donald Trump, he supports communism, he supports Marxism, he supports this, and he probably has a copy of Mein Kampf and all of this. All of the tactics that they accuse other people of using, they themselves are using it. So here he is trying to quote George Orwell, and I'm going, you're part of that. If they redid the movie, you would be one of the characters and they're gaslighting everybody.
Today on The Lead, we're going to talk honestly and frankly about all of this with a number of individuals who see it for what it is.
Oh, like Laura? Like how she saw it for what it was way back then? So somebody go get me a glove, but this time I want you to slide a brick in it, like Bugs Bunny. Yeah, slide the brick in the glove, so when I challenge him to a duel by slapping his face, then I could dump the crumbs out after the smashing that brick right up against his jaws. Unbelievable, this fake dude.
Talk to some journalists.
Now, that bothers me because, see, he's not the only one. So many of them have gotten away with the same thing. So many of them attack folks who identified so many situations as what they were, and they were attacked and called this and called that. And then they just rely on no one ever bringing it back up. That's the problem with it. And most folks just let it go or they forget. You know, she's not going to make it her mission to go back on that network and be like, yo, we need to revisit that narrative. Remember, show you the clip. Remember how you tried to attack me over this? Remember? Isn't this you saying the same thing I was saying? Once they told you it's okay now. But nobody's going to do it, so I will. If nobody's going to come to go ahead and defend Lord Trump's pride, I will, by calling fake crapper out. So, yeah, that fake dude right there defended broke brain Biden, and look at broke brain Biden now, doing stupid stuff.
Well, Mr. President-elect, former President, and Donald, congratulations.
Oh.
Looking forward to
Well, he letting bygones be bygones?
school transition. Whether we can make sure to accommodate what you need.
Well, look at that.
We're going to get a chance to talk to us.
He hanging out with Hitler.
Thank you very much.
And a peaceful transition. Look at that. Yeah.
School transition.
Peaceful.
Whether we can make sure to...
Yeah, he wanted to be smooth. And see, when I think of smooth, I think of like a relay, a handoff, okay? See, you know, you come out the blocks rolling, you come around that bend, and that dude standing there with his hand out, and he go, take off, reach. And it's a nice, smooth transition. But what's about to happen here is he lied. Yeah, he's talking about I'm a part of the relay team. I want it to be nice and smooth. And he's pretty much going to throw the baton in the back of Trump's head. I thought, here you go. So let's see what he's up to now to try to help a smooth transition.
Accommodate what you need. No, it's just a lie. Everything's a lie. The whole thing is a lie.
It is, Trump. It is.
New this morning, President Biden is making a sweeping move to ban all future offshore oil and natural gas drilling on America's east and west coast, the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and Alaska's North Bering Sea.
Someone tell me why? Why did Biden make Trump cry? But he ain't gonna make him cry for long. So now this dude comes out and does something stupid, just in spite. That's all it is. It's just let me go ahead and do stuff that's gonna make it hard for Trump to reverse. Let me put things in place that's gonna make him waste more time unraveling it. That's what he's about. He don't care about us. He don't care about the workers. He don't care about any of that stuff. He don't care about the prosperity that this will bring to our country. He's like, I'd rather cripple it. Or should I say, whoever put him up to it. In their mind, they would rather cripple the country in every area possible than to give Trump a win. They know Trump's going to come in and do smart things, put in smart policies that will jumpstart this economy and bless all of Americans financially and economically, with jobs and all of that stuff. So they can't have that. They're like, yo, let's just throw any roadblock for no reason.
A senior administration official working in climate and energy calls the move, quote, one of the most significant climate actions the president could take. It comes 2 weeks before the inauguration of President-elect Trump, who will likely try to repeal it. But Biden is using...
Now, some liberal came up with that idea. Biden don't know what the heck is going on. He's sitting there like, am I done yet? Is my presidency up? When am I leaving? I want to go back to Scranton. I'm going to the beach real quick. And I know they're probably just go there. Stater, Joe. We'll go ahead and wrap things up and clean up and stuff. But before you go, could you go ahead and sign this climate the initiative to shut down all of these? So he probably just signed whatever. But I'm sure some woke liberal in his cabinet probably said, let's do this because we're still fighting against climate change and all of that stuff. And so here they go. Now, this is not a smooth transition. Why are you doing stuff like this on your way out? On your way out. Knowing this ain't going to make a difference. However, it's just, how can I stick it to Trump?
Using authority under the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, which will make it difficult for Trump to undo.
A few moments later.
I see it just came over that Biden has banned all oil and gas drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. coastal territory. It's ridiculous. I'll unban it immediately.
Yeah, you hear that?
Somebody saying he's going to ban.
He said, it's ridiculous. I'm going to unban it immediately. See, that's how you got to handle it, Trump. Because he's not trying to have a smooth transition. There it is. Yeah, he's running up your back. While you take off running, he's running up your back. Or he's not, he's telling you to go too soon. Or he dropped the baton. He's running out of his lane. He's the worst. He's not a team player. And, it's a shame that he's even on the track. Honestly. I mean, out of all the people who could be in a relay, they stick Joe Biden in there. Yeah. So anyway, that's his ideal of a smooth transition. Put in policies that are stupid, don't benefit the people, and try to obstruct Trump, knowing that Trump is going to come in and attack certain stupidity or implement certain things that, for whatever reason, Biden now got interest in blocking.
625 million acres. He doesn't know what that is. He doesn't even know what 625 million acres would look like. And we can't let that happen to our country. It's really our greatest economic asset. And we're not going to let that happen to our country.
Yeah. Thank God for Trump. Because the Democrats, we're letting horrific things happen to our country. I was watching Laura Ingraham this morning, and she was talking about how China has been acting a fool for these last 4 years. Could it be that $1.5 billion deal? I'm just wondering. But apparently, China is able to, hack stuff, and, they're testing ways to shut down our grid, and they're all in our stuff. They're like, all right, what about this water supply? Just in case we have to just shut off their water. Let's see. And we just letting it happen. Our intel community is out chasing down J6ers like we're about to see in a second. But while they're doing that, you got Chinese hackers just all in our business. Let me see what he is doing today. So now, listening to phone calls. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're having a great time under Biden.
I was told by a source familiar with her thinking, Jake, I'm going to throw it back to you, that she is steeling herself.
Oh, so now they're talking about Biden's, I guess, partner in crime, funky behind chameleon Kamala Harris. And she's certified this election, y'all. This is monumental. This is historical. She did exactly what every other vice president is supposed to do. But this is different because she's black, she's a woman, and I guess she had to fight and press her way through all of the obstacles to do this. Yeah, she had to overcome all of the racism and all of the discrimination to go ahead and certify this. That's right. So now they're up here talking about how this is monumental, and I think it's funny that you got to go ahead and certify your own butt whooping. So let's go ahead and hear what they're talking about here.
For this moment where she is going to be presiding over her own loss. Thank you.
The number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows.
Is what?
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris.
And how much did the loser get?
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Let me do the math. 226 minus, okay, what that other number's bigger. The other number's bigger. So I wouldn't even talked about how many votes I got. I would have mumbled it out. The other candidate, I don't know who it is, but the other candidate, they got 50 votes. Anyway, all right, let's get this finished. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. But she went ahead and had to say it so they could go ahead and celebrate a loser. Don't clap for that. You see Nasty Pelosi stood up from that walker right there. Got up on that bad, evil hip. And she's clapping those little monkey paws together. There you go. So Nasty's there. Look at all of the nasty folks with her, though. Don't be proud of that. Don't be smiling like...
A few moments later.
And it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
Now see, this is all being done in effort to, protect the narrative that Trump is, he's an anarchist. He doesn't respect peaceful transfer of power. Because they wanted to. Deep down in their bones, they wanted to all get up and go straight into all the stupid stuff we used to hear. I reject to the certification of this election because people are terrified. They wanted to do it, but they've been beating a dead horse for the last 4 years that Trump, he doesn't, he's not going to respect the peaceful transference of power. And they probably just said, let's embrace this because we got beat so bad, it's not worth our normal reaction when we lose elections. Let's just go ahead and flip it and try to make it into a PR move by saying, yeah, we did what we had to do. And, it's all about protecting the peaceful transfer of power. Unlike the insurrectionists. So you could tell that they're emphasizing this. And this should be just a normal, situation here. And why are you coming out, using these narratives? Well, it's to put the ideal in the people's head that Democrats obey the rules. Democrats are the ones that follow, the Constitution. Democrats aren't the folks that's trying to overthrow it. It's just that they got their butts beat so bad, they didn't have a leg to stand on. That's what happened. They got their butts beat so bad that they couldn't even cheat the beat. That's what it was. So they're like, ain't no need for us getting up there talking about I don't want to certify this election, which they normally do. So here she is now giving a little speech afterwards to show how noble she is. by doing her duty.
And today I did what I have done my entire career, which is take seriously the oath that I have taken many times to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Are you kidding me?
Which included today performing my constitutional duties to ensure that the people of America, the voters of America, will have their votes counted.
Now, do they normally interview vice presidents and ask them, how did you feel when you certified the election? Could you go give us a play-by-play? Could you break it down? You know what? That's not normal for you to people to certify elections as a vice president. How do you feel to be the first one to do it? Nobody gets these type of interviews or this attention, but I guess they're trying to make this a big to-do because I guess she's the first the woman of color and whatever.
That those votes matter and that they will determine then the outcome of an election.
Now, you know what's going to happen? Next election, they're all going to be talking about, what did we do when Trump won? We certified the election. I heard something fall. Don't make me go to the wall. I heard something fall. I go to the wall. Heard something fall. Yeah, let me see which one I want to use just in case I got to get physical. Yeah, I got my choice. Anyway, let me get back to it. I'm hearing boogeyman. Yeah, but the point is, the next time that, election come up, they're going to be talking about some, you know what, unlike the last election that with Donald Trump, look what we did. Look what we did. But they won't show you the years and years and years of footage of them all denying it. They still haven't come out and said that Trump won legitimately in 2016. They still haven't confessed that Russia lie. Still haven't confessed it. Just moved on from it. So let's finish hearing her celebrate herself.
I do believe very strongly that America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
On this Harris business, I think before...
Scott's back, y'all. He's back. Oh, to wreak havoc.
Before we canonize St. Kamala here on the high holy day of January 6th, let's remember the Electoral Count Reform Act of 2022 makes it perfectly clear that the vice president has nothing but purely ministerial duties on this day. She didn't actually certify the results of the election. That's done by the...
So wait a minute. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. What is that noise? Here's one. Come on. All right, I think the coast is clear, everyone. I would hate for y'all to witness a situation. No. I mean, I can let one bump go. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that could be the house shifting, something like that. And 2 bumps, I'm going, okay, now what's making that noise? So it could have been Gizmo because, as I mentioned last night, now all of a sudden he got a crush on Nala and he's been acting a complete fool. I have to keep her in her cage because he will not stop trying to just harass her. This dude he said, are you carrying? Oh yeah, it's right in front of me. It's right there. They're not gonna beat me to the punch. This dude got on top of her cage last night. I'm gonna have to show y'all the picture. I turned around, he was standing on top of her cage. Like, let me in there. I gotta get in there. I'm like, you got it bad, Giz. You got it real bad. Nose wide open. Nala done got the boy sprung. Got him sprung. So, yeah, it could have been him acting a fool, trying to flip the cage over or something. Who knows? But he better cut it out. Now, I lost my spot. Oh, Scott getting back here with them as they try to celebrate Kamala Harris for doing basically what she's supposed to do. You know, what everybody else done. But now all of a sudden, he's talking about some,
the voters.
It was clear as day 4 years ago as well, but because of the
I mean,
Shut
that's
up.
the thing. I mean, nobody's trying to canonize her. The same thing was true.
Oh, they're not. I mean, she put out a video trying to canonize herself.
There you go. Most of the time, they don't put out videos after they certify an election. I did what I had to do. That's like a maintenance guy sweeping the floor and getting an award for it. Unlike all the rest of the maintenance guys, I swept it good. I did my duty, and I had to go ahead and I had nice even strokes when I was sweeping, and I got dusted my brush off, and I'm going, you swept the floor. You did what you supposed to do. Everybody, that ain't special. You don't need to make a speech about it. So let's continue.
I mean, she was actually just saying it's unremarkable. That's true.
That's the opposite.
I want to actually congratulate the Democrats today. This is the first election since 1980.
He's doing this again.
This is the first election since 1988 that a Republican won, and Democrats did not try to overturn the results on the floor of the Congress.
Quick point.
It's true. It's so true. Yeah, man. They had to bite their tongues. They had to muzzle themselves like, come on, we talked about this, guys. We all got to suppress our evilness, okay? Don't do it. Pretend that we're okay with this. So, yeah, that is true. And, of course, Adam Singer, the fake rhino, the rhino sitting next to him, crying, Adam, he has something to say.
Both parties have always accepted the presidential election until won
False.
4 years ago.
They have not. They have not.
No, Scott,
They have not.
members of some of the Democratic Party, yes, I agree with that. But say
members, the majority of the Democrat Party. See, understand, not only did they try not to certify the election in 2016, but then they spent the next 2.5 years all going on networks saying that Trump's illegitimate because he's a Russian asset. And this dude's talking about, he don't realize that also is a part of election denial. When you're saying that the president isn't legitimate because Putin helped him get in. So that's even worse than just denying the election up front and then losing and say, well, let's move on. Y'all carried that mess into his whole presidency by delegitimizing that he was real based on a lie about Russia. And they said they're still saying it. That's the sad part about it.
in the party, I've never seen the speaker or the leader of the Democrats of the House of Representatives object to a presidential election. There is a massive difference, and don't try to put these on the same thing. Look, I agree they shouldn't have done it, but to say it's the same as what happened in January 6th is insane.
I think that this is why we are.
Here it comes, and this is why I'm sick of J6. Here it comes, guys. Buckle up. Now I got to get physical with these people, along with Scott. They trying to jump Scott. Scott, hold on, man. I'm on my way. Tag me in.
Where we are in this country is I think we're drawing false parallels to things that are happening in history. Look, in 2000, that was the first election. I was in Ohio, the place, the ground zero, people were questioning.
Hold on. Did she just say we're drawing false parallels to things that happened in history? So she's going to reverse it. What she's trying to say is that Scott is saying that, you know, the J6 denial of with Trump, you know, and that the protests and all that stuff, it can't hold a candlestick to all of the years of the Democrat Party running around saying that Trump's illegitimate, he didn't win, the Russians won. You know what? Let's not certify this election. Let's go ahead and try to impeach him for no reason. I guess she's trying to say that, yeah, it's not even on the same level. And I'm going, yeah, you're right about that. Democrats went way beyond just saying, I disagree with this election. Yeah, they coordinated and schemed and conspired to undermine him, delegitimize him, and to accuse him of treason. Treason. That's how bad they want to get this dude out. So here she is talking about a false equivalence. And now we're about to see a real false equivalence.
It was the first election I ever got to vote in. I was greatly disappointed, and I thought what happened in Florida with hanging chads was wrong. But I didn't storm the Capitol because I was an adult that accepted the results of the election and the will of the people, whether I thought that some things had gone a little awry. That's not what happened on January 6th. And I don't think it's fair to draw the parallels that it was. I also think that showing this is really important. I used to be a former school teacher. And I think that we are in a moment right now in our country where information is being disseminated in ways where we do sometimes draw false parallels.
Here we go. Here we go. So I'm about to go ahead and show her how this applies to the Democrats. So as we live in that information with all do draw false parallels. You mean like Kamala Harris talking about this was the greatest attack on the homeland since 9/11, since Okinawa and all of this? You mean like that? Yeah. So what are you talking about false parallels? You mean like comparing Trump to Hitler? You mean like comparing the his rally in New York to a Nazi rally? You mean like that? See, yeah, because you're right. You know who puts that false information out there that causes people to make false parallels? It's you guys. Conservatives don't do that. We usually, if we make a comparison, it's usually pretty accurate and balanced. But then you turn on the fake news and you listen to Democrats and they make comparisons. You go, I cannot believe they just said that this was just like whatever. Because, see, they know they got to go over the top. Plus, they know they got viewers and they got voters that are simple-minded enough to not catch the drastic difference between whatever they're trying to say. So let's go ahead and continue destroying this lady.
And so showing what actually happens, showing the checks and balances and explaining why January 6th is not the same as when other times in history people have asked questions about the election is really important for this upcoming generation that may have questions about the fragility of our democracy.
Y'all hear that? So now she said, and showing footage and making sure all the kids grow up thinking that this should be in the history books is like, next to Pearl Harbor. And, when you study history, it's like, all right, Pearl Harbor, the Holocaust and J6, 9/11, all of that, just in the same, I guess that's what she said. But notice that she didn't say, and showing all of the footage that the Democrats tried to hide that showed, people walking around peacefully, picking up stuff, being escorted by police, arms around some of those people, praying with the police. They didn't want to show all of that. They just want to show the outside where folks was acting a fool. They just want to show the parts where folks was breaking some windows, like the guy with the earpiece in. The Fed walking around with his face covered and the earpiece in, and got mad when people tried to stop him. So you don't want people to see that? Yeah, y'all were not circulating, video clips of Bigfoot Ray Epps. Now I wonder why not. That guy right there, he was a picture perfect idea of what a white nationalist Trump supporter that stormed the Capitol. Yeah, he could have been the poster child. Now, if he wasn't a Fed, they would have took that clip and ran it over and over again. Tomorrow, we got to win our Capitol. I'll say it. I might go to jail for it. I'll say it. We're going this way. The Capitol's that way. They would have ran that on every network. They didn't show Ray Epps at all until they had to try to undermine the narrative that dude was a Fed. There's a video circulating around in right-wing extremist media about this mysterious character that stood head and shoulders over everybody and spent 2 days out there telling people we got to learn that crap. But yet, the FBI take him off the list somehow. Yeah, he's not spending 20 years in the slammer for some reason. But you don't want to show that? Man, you don't want the people to say, well, that don't make no sense. Let's continue.
Look, I get it, and I agree that in the long run, I think that the days of January 6 fights are probably going to be over. We did a great thing with the Electoral Count Act reform, but we have to be very careful. We can't put Democrats, and I was against them doing it when they did it, obviously, against Democrats opposing the election. We can't put that on the same level what happened on January 6th. It's one thing for a few people to say, we're going to vote against certification of this election. Once it would have hit critical mass in the Democrats, I'm pretty sure if it would have hit critical mass, the leadership would have come out and said, no, we can't do this.
No, you mean the leadership would have came out and plotted with James Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Obama probably, Hillary Clinton, Yeah, they would have came out and said, all right, darn it, we couldn't stop him from getting certified. So let's go ahead and send some FBI agents over there to get Michael Flynn, and then we can set it all up from there. Don't worry, guys. We'll get him on the back end. So that's what they did. Adam Signature, you big fat rhino, where's your horn? I want to see your horn. So now let's finish hearing him try to say there's no comparison.
Instead, Republican leadership like Kevin McCarthy shocked us all on January 1st on a phone call when he said he as well is going to object to the certification of this election. And when he did that, that's when I predicted that day there'll be violence on the 6th because you're convincing half of the country an election was stolen.
This is fascinating. This dude don't realize the whole reaction that the left has. See, I got to expose the hypocrisy coming up. We're going to have a moment of hypocrisy. But nonetheless, this guy is totally oblivious to why so many riots took place, so much anarchy took place, because the Democrat Party had all of these Americans thinking that Donald Trump was not legitimate because of Russia. Yeah, they were saying that this guy was a threat to democracy and he's a Russian agent. And these liberals acted a fool on multiple levels. And yet here he is talking about when you convince people that, that things weren't legit.
By the way, Scott, if I believed an election was stolen, I would have been on the steps of the Capitol that day because we're a country that believes we should have a voice heard. And that's the danger of terrible leadership and convincing people.
Well, okay, David,
all those people weren't violent protesters.
I'm going to let you make your point, but I want to pull that video back up that we were just showing.
Oh, see, yeah. This chick right here, she wants to pull up the video that we was just showing. You know, the segmented clips. Yeah, the ones that, really show how crazy it was. See, and so she want us to believe that this was the worst thing ever. That probably should have tanked Trump, and we should have voted for him. We shouldn't even voted for him.
Because I want you to make your point, because I think a lot of people share your perspective.
Yeah, those people should go to jail. Right?
What we were just showing with the barricades and the officers.
Look at that.
Those were not officers just letting them.
No, go to the Supreme Court side.
Yeah, but see, they don't want to do that. See, she selectively picked those clips. Yeah, where they was breaking the window. And honestly, when Ray Bigfoot Epps was out there and he whispered in that young man's ear and they start yanking that bike rack. First of all, why do you have a bike rack up there? For what? Good grief. And you might as well put some paper mache fences up there, all right? Don't go through these toothpicks we're sticking right here. So they had the bike rack there. And all of a sudden they start yanking on the bike rack and those cops just collapsed immediately. They're rocking with the bike rack. Oh, we're down. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm on the south wing. I'm down. All right, what does the script say? The script say I got to get up and then run up to the left wing and then say that, all right, where you at, Frank? Oh, I'm over here doing my part, escorting people in and setting them up for failure with entrapment. So let's go ahead and continue seeing them show these clips right here.
I know the video you're talking about.
No, this is these people should go to jail. The people on the Supreme Court side, however,
they were trespassing.
They were trespassing.
They were trespassing though. So give them 2 years. Do you see that? They're coming in like they were trespassing. See, when he said, but show the other clips. I know which ones you're talking about. I know which one, but that's not what we want to show. That's not what we want to show right now. We want to show this stuff right here. Okay, and then when he brought up, but show the other folks, the folks that they, was mistreated because they were just walking around the Capitol, but they were trespassing though. And they didn't even know it. I mean, they walking in there like, the door is open. Is it trespassing if the homeowner invites you in, then shoots you? Yeah, I saw you walking down the street, buddy. You want to come on in? Okay. Yeah, what's going on in here? I tell you, what? You're trespassing. So they're talking about they were trespassing. The majority of those people who got there after the initial breach walked in because the doors were wide open and police officers were escorting them. And here she is. They were trespassing though. Yeah. How about we give one of your family members about 20 years for trespassing? You'll be like, what the? For trespassing?
If it's me trespassing. Physical violence.
I know, but don't you think shouldn't they make an example out of these people though? Like this was wrong. They shouldn't be allowed to trespass.
Everybody should not be treated equally. They were violent criminals, right? They should.
Now see, all of those helmets, that's not Trump supporters. I'm looking at these young men out there with those bike helmets on and their faces covered. Those aren't Trump supporters. Those are Antifians, man. We don't come out there dressed like raggedy bootleg ninjas, face all masked up, big old helmets on, dressed in black. That's not us, man. That's not us. Yeah, they ain't even got no MAGA stuff on. They came just like they just came from an Antifa rally.
Shouldn't be treated equally. There are people, these people who are beating the police should go to jail. There's no excuse for it, right? There's no excuse for it. Some of the people on the other,
do you think then those people should get pardons? Should those people get pardons? The people that Donald Trump is promising to pardon?
He didn't promise to pardon everybody. He said he's going to look at it case by case basis. Let's just be factual.
Those police officers in there, man, are going for a ride. They're like, wee, wee. They're like, we might as well just go with the crowd. Go with the crowd.
Right? And to be factual, the only person that died on January 6th, there was one person that died. Ashley Babbitt was the only person who was
there. Don't bring her up. You can't say that. Her name never comes out of the fake news. Like, they never mention any of the victims that the Democrats are responsible for. Yeah, they just bunny hop over their names. They act like these things never happen. But they will tell you that 4 police officers were killed on that day. And, it wasn't that day? Or did they die close to that day? Well, that's good enough. That's good enough.
No, wait a minute. If you're arguing because he didn't die on the 6th, then he passed away on the 7th.
Exactly. You're trying to say just because he didn't die on the 6th that the thing had nothing to do with it. No, the coroner said that J6 had nothing to do with it, you idiot. Here she is. Was that just because he didn't die exactly on the 6th in the riot? I mean, he died the next day. From what? Some totally unrelated. But here she is trying to still attach it to J6.
That is beyond splitting hairs.
That's splitting hairs. A whole day later, and yet you get an autopsy and they conclude that this man died of natural causes. Had nothing to do with that. But you talk about that's just splitting hairs because we need to make it seem worse than it was. How can we tell y'all this was the greatest attack on the homeland and ain't nobody die on our side? We can't use no legitimate, real violent situations to justify the hype. So we got to go ahead and, draft in some stuff. Did anybody die within a week? A week of it? Okay. So wait, somebody died the day before? All right, let's go ahead and throw that person in too. So this other guy, he just died? He just died? Oh, let me see. It's 3 years too long. You know what? Let's go ahead and contribute that to that. That's what they're doing. Just going ahead and throwing anybody in there that died relatively around that time, and it was because of J6.
Come on. You don't actually. Why else was she there? She wouldn't have been there that day if Donald Trump didn't spread conspiracy theories about an election that he knew was not stolen.
Again. Now see, right there, that one might have made me stop. The music, zip. The reason she died is because Donald Trump they convinced her to be. So wait, you're telling me then that we as citizens and patriots can't go and protest, even if our leader encourages us or says, come and support, because we got to worry about getting shot by a cop? Yeah, that's what you should have been here. If you wouldn't have came here, walked into these doors that were wide open, if you wouldn't have been getting pushed up against that glass by what I saw, mostly young Antifians, because that one dude was right there next to her filming it. Jalen, whatever, was right there filming that. And she got pushed up against the glass and decided, okay, I'm going through the glass. If you weren't there in that situation with all those cops standing right next to you, all those cops standing right around you, and not one of them grabbed you and said, please, sweetie, could you come down off of there? They're standing there looking like, this is hilarious. And then some trigger happy bum ends up shooting her in the neck, and she blames Trump. She don't blame the guy who got the worst record ever as a police officer that the Democrats held as a hero. Where did I put my gun? Oh, shoot, I went and took a leak. I hope I didn't leave my gun in the bathroom. Oh, God. Run back there. Excuse me, mister, is this your gun? Give me that. Did anybody see you? Everybody saw you? Darn it. That guy shouldn't even been an officer. You leave your weapon in the bathroom, you should be done. So that guy, she's blaming it on Ashley Babbitt and Trump. She would have never been there.
And he told those people to go to the Capitol. And so she was there as a result of him telling her to be there.
And they act like we don't have brains of our own. That's what really, I love Trump, but they give him too much credit. We're not brainless, brainwashed Democrat voters who just show up to antagonize and to protest and act a fool. They come in mad. Yeah, they know what they're there for. They get bussed in. Yeah, somebody said victim blaming. Absolutely. But no, we're not like them though. So if we go to protest, that's because we have enough details about the situation to feel like it's warranted to take time out of your schedule and go up there in the cold. We ain't going up there for nothing. We ain't going up there because women's rights, reproductive rights are an attack. We ain't going up there because Donald Trump's a threat to democracy. When we say we're going, it's because we've been seeing things like people boarding up windows in broad daylight, and people aren't allowed to count the votes. If we going up there because we see people spending the night swiping boxes of ballots in the middle of the night when they're not supposed to be in there. Yeah, we're going up there because of all the folks that was willing to go on record and say, we have evidence that these folks were cheating. We're going up there because we're questioning why Trump was winning in the middle of the night. We wake up the next day and he lost. That's why. So it ain't just Trump just told us this stuff. And we're not running around still believing that election was stolen. If we didn't really believe it, this would be a great time to say, nah, you know what, forget it. Our little rant about the election being stolen didn't work. Listen, now that we won, forget it. Let's just say. But I will go to my grave, even though we won now. But I will still go to my grave saying, yeah, we might have won now, but they still cheated in that election. Bottom line, they still cheated in that election. I don't care what you say. They ain't gonna. So if I could have been up there, I would have been up there too. And for me to even think about coming out to protest, I gotta know what I'm doing. I gotta know why I'm protesting. It ain't just because some leader just said, come out and protest, like Democrat voters.
She would not have died if it.
Yes, Donald Trump won despite January 6th, but that half the nation was okay with that?
Elephants never forget.
Well, you know what? Neither do we, you big fat elephant. That's what you are. Yeah. So here this lady is talking about elephants do not forget.
And today is January 6th, 2025, 4 years since the January 6th insurrection. And we, Americans who actually care about democracy.
Oh, care about democracy, you say? Well, since y'all don't forget, well, neither do we. I mean, I think I need to remind you.
And the real peaceful transfer of power, not coups and insurrections, we will never forget.
Well, neither will we. Neither will we. Remember this, y'all? Remember this?
They're forced and peaceful protesters.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
And they're going to just point people off the street to make it seem like there are problems going on.
Now, I didn't see stuff like that at J6. That right there concerns me. Those backgrounds look like anarchy. Those backgrounds look like Baghdad, bombs on Baghdad. That looked like some third world country stuff going on right there. But these Democrats aren't able to properly interpret that. Because to them, that's mostly peaceful protests. Mostly peaceful. But when we say the J6, protesters were mostly peaceful, no, they weren't. And even if they weren't, they trespassed. So they need 20 years. So here they are covering for all of their paid riot.
When all that's happening are peaceful protests.
And our peaceful protesters' ability to get out at night.
Most of these protests have been peaceful.
I applaud these protesters. The majority of these protesters are peaceful. They have been.
Now that looks pretty violent. See all those Antifians there? They're dressed just like what we just saw in that clip that they were showing on CNN. I'm going, they look familiar. Man, I kind of know the MO because we had a whole summer to start looking at how they operate, the stuff that they wear, some of their tactics. Yeah, we had a whole summer to go ahead and start identifying their work. So yeah, I'm looking going, that looks pretty Antifian.
Peaceful for weeks.
It has continued for the most part.
For the most part.
It's peaceful. We had a number of peaceful protests.
Democrats, man, ruined. They let these folks ruin cities all over the place. and went ahead and said they were mostly peaceful. Now look at these. Look at this. Since they want to talk about equal comparisons. They want to talk about equal comparisons, y'all. Remember, the lady was like, I think we got to be careful not to make a... So let's go ahead and see this equal comparison from Sonny the Dummy.
I say no. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history.
Really? Now, I can think of about 50 off the top of my head that was way worse than that. I'm thinking, good grief. Apparently, you haven't been watching all the events that took place going on around our country. Yeah, matter of fact, I would even dare to say an incident with a woman being burned alive on a train was worse than what took place on January 6th. The horror of that, okay, I'm going, that was one of the worst situations in a so-called civilized nation down in a public institution. Somebody just get burned alive in a Democrat city. I could go through so many situations that I go, that was worse than January 6th. But here she is. She said that was one of the worst situations. Let's see why she said it.
And when you think about the worst moments in American history.
Oh, the worst moments in American. Now she's about to stick her foot in her mouth. This is the disconnect when you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. Because many people in their head actually believe that these are legitimate comparisons to make. Yeah.
Like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
So, can you believe that short? That is so, like, she was saying that with confidence. She didn't even stop to think, what am I saying? Am I actually saying that, people clap when she said it was one of the worst things in our country. But I'm sure when she started using examples and comparisons, I'm sure even the audience probably is like, I don't know about that now. World War II? The Holocaust? Slavery? Do you understand the leap? So here you are. That's an example of a crazy behind comparison, but that's how liberals think. In their mind, the sky's falling. Everything's on fire. Trump's the worst. He can't just be, I don't like his policies. No, he's Hitler. He's Hitler. See, always straight to the top. I can't believe they didn't make her come out with a public announcement on that one. I got a reading. Sonny is a dummy. And they're about to take my money. And I made a stupid comparison because I'm suffering from TDS. I got a doctor's note that says that I'm allowed one or two dumb statements during the show. I got a sickness. Tell her we might need to classify this mess when we hear stupid stuff like that.
Important in light of all the rhetoric and things we're going to hear people say today is that ultimately it was the American people that got to decide ultimately how we feel collectively as a country by January the 6th. And already today, we have heard some people in other venues say extraordinarily unhinged and vile things, comparing January 6th to the Holocaust, to slavery, to World War II.
Crazy.
I think we need to arrange our feelings and control ourselves accordingly here and not go off the deep end. It was not a good day. Political violence cannot be condoned, but we can also be measured in how we view it in light of the rest of...
But Scott, Democrats aren't measured. They're never measured. They always go to the extreme. That's why we call them extremists. Yeah, I would like that if they could be measured, but they can't. They can't. Yeah, Donald Trump, 4 indictments. 4 is good enough. We think we need more? So the people, they'll never recognize. They'll never recognize that we are extreme with all of these indictments. They'll never figure it out. Yeah, they're never over the top, right? They're always measured. 12 women. Trump has been accused of 12 random women that just came out of nowhere. We didn't want to stop at maybe 2, maybe 2. Yeah, why do that? 12 is better. Brett Kavanaugh goes from Blase 4 to, there's a gang, you know what it's. They ran a sex operation in high school. Is that juicy enough? No. More? We want more? Okay, let's make it even more juicy. They always go over the top. They're never measured. Donald Trump just can't be a bad politician. He's Hitler. Yeah, he's a threat to democracy. The reason that these people interpret these things is because they've been compromised mentally. They've been convinced for 4+ years, 8 now, that Donald Trump, soon as they make a connection to anything concerning Trump, you can throw out the most asinine, wildest statement or comparison, and they will accept it because they have brainwashed these people into thinking that anything, no matter how bad it is, Donald Trump is compared to it. That Donald Trump, Satan, pretty much, and people go, yeah, easily. I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, Scott, that's wishful thinking, but these people's brains are broke, and you got two types of them. You got those that know they're going over the top, but that's their goal. Their goal is to get other people to believe in stuff that they will, that they will accept the over-the-top comparisons. So you got those that believe it, and you got those that deceive people by spreading this garbage.
American and world history, what's happening today is ultimately a good thing because both parties, for the first time in my adult life, are accepting the results of an election. And that is ultimately putting this country on the right tracks. I just think people ought to really take stock of our feelings and not get out over our skis too much today and minimizing other world events and comparing them to January the 6th.
But of course they can't do that. Yeah, man, they just can't let the peaceful transference of power go. They got to straight up come out there the whole time it's happening, talking about we can't believe it's happening. Let's just keep pounding J6 and insurrection and Donald Trump say the felon. Let's just keep doing that because it works so well. Works so well as we are certifying him based on all of the people rejecting these very narratives. And yet they're still trying to go ahead and say, maybe we could pick off some low-hanging fruit. What, is the election over? It's too late. So all the convincing was supposed to take place before this. So we're still going to go ahead and continue to push this narrative? I mean, don't you think we're just beating a dead horse? Well, you know what? Never mind. I'm getting paid. The J6 was the greatest threat to...
I think that this is probably why. This is why.
Here we go.
We probably won't be able to move on from January 6th. You're my friend, but I know you're smarter than that. I know that you're smarter than comparing what happened.
The country has already moved on.
No.
It's everybody today that's having a meltdown that hasn't moved on.
Yeah. See, and they don't move on from anything. They keep bringing it up constantly, or they recycle it. Yeah, they'll be back to Russia. They'll slide some of that in. We'll get a little dose of Pootie. We'll get a dose of all of this stuff. They recycle. Just like racism. We should have been moved on from all of this racism they say is running rampant, but they won't let us. Soon as folks start showing some unity, all of a sudden, America's a racist country, white supremacy, white nationalism, systemic racism is and folks have vomited that up. They don't get it though. They're like, let's bring it back. It's in style. They're out here still rocking Jerry curls, the asymmetric haircuts, out here wearing biker shorts to the club, and we go, that's out of style. Y'all trying to bring that mess back? No, man, let it go.
No, we're not having a meltdown. We watched the vice president do her job, just as we had to wait 14 hours, but nonetheless watch Mike Pence do his job.
While complaining the whole time that Trump shouldn't even be certified because he's a criminal, Trump, the insurrection, he needs to apologize. So you're not handling it gracefully. You know, if you're going to go through it gracefully. Don't go through it complaining. You know, be like Job. Job was like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? Though he slay me, yet I trust in him. But not y'all. I can't believe that God let this happen to me. Lord, what you doing? How can't you know what? I can't make it through. Yeah, you get no credit for going through screaming and hollering like that. Shut your mouth. Get in some meditation and let it go. But no, not them.
And just as we commended Mike Pence for having the courage to stand up to Donald Trump, it takes when people lose, whether you're a child or adult, it's hard to lose. That's why you don't want to be a loser. And
that's why Donald Trump couldn't do
it. That's why we actually
No. See, once again, that's why Donald Trump could do it. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump being a child, can't take a loss. See, they try to push this narrative. No, it is because he knew that it was rigged. Do you think that I would still be hanging on to this if I didn't believe it was rigged? Why would I just waste my time believing something that has no legitimacy, no evidence, no base, nothing? Just, you know what, I'm just going to say that it was rigged without no evidence whatsoever, like Democrats. That's how Democrats did. Trump, no evidence of Trump coordinating with Russia, but we're going to all believe it. I'm saying you didn't see all of this stuff. You know, and here you are talking about this because she couldn't take a loss. If we would have legitimately lost, I would have said, can't believe it, but still, we lost, y'all. But that didn't happen.
Here is because he couldn't be an adult. He couldn't stand up and say, you know what? The country is bigger than me. The voters.
No, he couldn't let y'all get away with that crime and think y'all, you know, were legit. He couldn't let America think that he was actually beaten by you guys and y'all didn't cheat. He couldn't do that. That would be encouraging y'all to continue it because nobody would have called it out. So that's what I call this mess. I don't care if it's years later. I cannot sit back and let the stuff that I've witnessed come out of these people just say, well, that was a long time ago. If it's 10 years from now, Joe Biden's dead and gone, I'm going to still be saying that dude right there was getting money from all of these other countries. And even though he's dead and gone, I want everybody to know it. I'm still going to go ahead and speak the truth because y'all wanted to just go away and get away with the crime. Yeah, at least somebody needs to be able to say this would have happened. So now they wanted Trump to just say, well, even though I might have felt that they cheated, I'm not going to say anything. They would have thought, yeah, we got away with it.
It was decided 4 years ago, and today he still hasn't done it. Now you
because he believes
2000
it.
And 2004 and 2000, but that's not the same.
It's
and
not
you
the
can,
same. You're right about
I know
that.
deep down inside that you also know that what happened on January 6th, we have never seen anything like that in our lifetime, and God hopes we never do. And that was not what happened.
You mean like this? You mean like this? Oh, really? We ain't never seen that like that in our lifetime. Here we go, y'all. Here we go.
Then that's when that crazy woman started screaming, remember, with the glasses?
United States of America.
That was pretty crazy,
I wonder
right there.
whatever happened to her. She's probably... I just wonder where she is right now.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
With a gracious aid.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not.
I bet you she had no idea she was going to become a forever meme. This is why you got to think before you act a fool on the internets. Good grief. Liberals don't think about that. Yeah, they think they're going to be praised for the stupidity. Now she's hiding out somewhere probably. Then grew the hair out, got contacts, tried to change her whole profile. I don't want nobody to see me. Hey, aren't you the screaming lady? No, that wasn't me. I'm so sorry, my world. But remember, that lady said, we've never seen anything like this. You're right. Like what we're about to see right here.
All of a sudden, the police officers started to spray pepper spray, and they got our audio.
This is after Trump was announced. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Whoa.
The chaotic scene just blocks outside the secure area of the inauguration and parade route.
I personally have anti-establishment slants, but I don't think that this is anything that I want to be a part of.
No, me either, man.
Before the swearing-in ceremony even began, protesters tried to block checkpoint entrances.
Look at that.
President Trump's speech, several demonstrators were escorted out of the area. Several officers injured during the...
Several officers injured during Trump's inauguration? Wait a minute. Why weren't those officers brought into the J6 committee? Why weren't they brought in and given, medals of honor and courage and stuff like that? Why weren't they sitting there going, I was so scared. All those liberals, they charged me and said that I was just nothing but a white supremacist. Why didn't they do that for those officers? Why don't they ever bring up all the officers that were injured during the reaction to Trump winning and being inaugurated? And yet these people carried on like this. Now, this is an insurrection right here. See, let's go ahead and finish because that lady said she ain't never seen nothing like
protest
that.
Today, and more than 100 people arrested. Once the inaugural parade began, the newly sworn-in president facing thousands of peaceful protesters amongst his supporters. NBC's Stephanie Gosk was with him all day.
When Donald Trump took the oath of office, the people here sang, "We shall overcome."
Resist from day one!
similar demonstrations across the country. Arrest outside Trump Tower, New York City.
So wait, they're insurrectionists? They didn't just confine it to one day. They didn't confine it to just one location. This was coordinated across the country? So this was like a national baby insurrection or something like that. Now see, I call what they're doing an insurrection, but see, I won't even play their game. I know that these were not insurrections. These were riots. These were folks up here that were anarchists, but it wasn't no insurrection. See, but if I played their game, this right here is an insurrection.
A human chain across San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. From Phoenix to Houston to Chicago, people protesting the country's new president on his first day in office.
Tonight, thousands of protesters remain in downtown D.C., occasionally facing off with police.
Facing off with police?
We've seen many people injured, both protesters and police officers.
So they were attacking police officers? Man, what if one of those police officers would have died like a day or two later? I mean, what if one of them would have, went home after being exhausted, fighting with all of these radical Antifians and protesters, and slipped in the bathtub and hit his head and kicked the bucket? It would have been their fault. It would have been their fault. Let's continue though.
A limousine set on fire as demonstrators wreaked havoc in Washington.
I didn't see one of those on J6. I didn't see them burning a limo right there at the Capitol. That's crazy, man. I would have been more scared to be in this crowd.
Police had to push back the protesters so firefighters could get to the flames.
So wait, they were impeding the firefighters from putting fires out? This is anarchy. This is crazy. Did that black woman who said we ain't never seen nothing like this, did she ain't seen this? That's why I'm showing these clips. So please show her, say, we heard you never seen anything like what took place on J6. Here's some footage maybe. Watch it and then get back with me. Yeah, give me some feedback on what do you think.
A group of people carrying anarchy flags pushed over trash cans and destroyed storefront windows as they stormed through the streets.
Welcome visitors to our city, but we will not tolerate the destruction of our neighborhoods, and we absolutely will not tolerate violence against our police officers.
But as night fell, protesters lit a bonfire just blocks from the White House.
Wow.
Closer to home, near Mar-a-Lago, protesters wheeled a coffin to symbolize the death of democracy. And now a familiar scene outside Trump Tower in Chicago, a huge crowd of demonstrators making their voices heard.
Wow. Well, guys, after all them whining, talking about the insurrection and the J6 was the worst, we now see where the real violence comes from. Not from conservatives, not from Trump motivating people. All of those people that was in those streets, they didn't have MAGA hats on. They weren't Trump supporters. All Democrat voters. All paid protesters, probably encouraged and supported by George of the Jungle. Because, I mean, how do you coordinate all of those protests in all those different locations when they were pulling up in buses and stuff? And when it got out of hand, of course, Democrats come out and say, they're mostly peaceful protesters. So they should shut their big fat mouths talking about J6. I'm sick of J6. Now, as we close, y'all, I'm shocked. Somebody must have bumped his head too. Somebody must be hitting the weights. And all of a sudden, they're like, I'm starting to feel like a man, perhaps. I'm starting to get some backbone. Or maybe he just sees the writing on the wall. But Mark Zuckerberg, what is up with Zuck? Listen to this. He sounds like an ultra MAGA. Maybe he finally said, let me grow some testes because right about now, I see some people who took a stance and it's encouraging me. It's like a war movie. You see Elon Musk come up out the dugout, out of the thing and say, let's go. And he's sitting down there like, I'm scared. And then next, he just gets some bravery like, darn it, here I come. Because you got other folks in his same industry that's saying, we're not going to be playing the game of the left. We're going to be the pioneers. We're going to be the ones that push back against this mess. We're going to be the ones that speak out against it and recognize it. And then all of a sudden, when it's more safe, here come Mark Zuckerberg. But I will say what he's saying is lovely to hear. And the left hate it. Listen to this.
Mark Zuckerberg is announcing some new changes for Meta, calling the recent elections a cultural tipping point towards prioritizing free speech.
Ooh.
So this morning, he's announcing that Meta, which of course owns Facebook and Instagram, will move away from the independent, nonpartisan fact-checking they've had in place since after the 2016 election.
What?
Instead, he says they will rely on community notes. In other words, users putting out context. This is similar to what X is doing. Zuckerberg says Meta's complex moderation system makes too many mistakes with too much censorship. Meta also plans to get rid of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender and move their content moderation team from California to Texas, among others.
Oh my. Now he's gonna tick off some liberals, man. Big time, y'all. So now I might start live streaming again on Facebook. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, he needs to go ahead and call over to YouTube and say, hey, you see, why don't you take the lead too? Why don't you go ahead and do that? So now this man is about to let us talk freely about the Transformers. He's about to let us talk freely about things like abortion or illegal immigration. This is crazy. What got hold of him?
Other things, all essentially loosening up the way that Facebook moderates its content. This is all happening less than 2 weeks before President-elect Trump is sworn in.
That's it. That's what got a hold to him. He been Trumpified. Yeah, that's what got a hold to him. So apparently when he saw Trump show some courage, maybe it's like, maybe I can be brave too. Who knows? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to the globalists. That's it. Come on, Mark, you can do this. So now, apparently the Trump effect is taking place. And it looks like we winning all over the place, man. So I hope the rest of the big tech platforms fall too. I hope they fall. Because apparently he done jumped on board and they're going to fight against censorship.
And as Zuckerberg and some of these other tech titans look to be making inroads with the incoming administration, after Mr. Trump's victory in November, Zuckerberg traveled to Mar-a-Lago. His company also donated about $1 million to the Trump inaugural fund.
Kiss the ring.
Keep in mind the backdrop here, right? Over the next 4 years, the Trump administration will set federal policy in areas like AI and antitrust that are really important to Meta and some of these other big tech companies too.
So unsurprising.
Oh, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Yeah, this goes to show the true nature of liberal voters and citizens. Yeah, they don't like it. They want people looking over our shoulder telling us what to think, what's right and what's wrong. They like that stuff for some reason. Only though if it's targeted at folks who disagree with their liberal policies and ideas. That's what so now this ain't a good thing to them. Allowing us to be able to work out our discussions and disagreements on our own and do our own research. These people are like, I don't like it. Now, anything that Trump supports, even if it's good, they immediately say it's bad. Even if Zuckerberg didn't say nothing about Trump or whatever, if they make any correlation that this might be something that the right believes in or they support, then I got to go to the whole opposite extreme and get mad at it, which by default showed that we're the real fascists.
But still concerning news. Mark Zuckerberg has decided that Meta will undergo some major policy changes. These policy changes will essentially make Meta platforms much more like X. And as a reminder, Meta platforms include Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger.
Bam!
So right now the plan is that moderators are going to be removed from these platforms.
Get them out of here.
Moderators that do exist are going to be living in Texas, a traditionally conservative state. We can expect community guidelines to be much more...
See, they put everything in a category, conservative state versus liberal state. Now, it does matter in this particular case, but the premise of it shouldn't matter. Freedom of speech, that should be universal. However, you're not going to get folks out there in woke California that is trying to be non-biased. So yes, in this case, to actually implement some type of, freedom of speech, you got to get out of there.
More lax, meaning that all kinds of information can be out there, whether true or not.
True or not, because we've never had to deal with true or not information before. As a species, we've always had people to come out and say, excuse me, I overheard you two talking. What this person just said is a lie, okay? I had to fact check them. Yeah, we never had to deal with this. Yeah, we never went to school growing up in the classroom in the 4th grade and somebody's lying about you or lying about this and you got to figure it out or y'all discuss it and have an argument. We never had to do do this. As a human, species, we don't know what to do without the government telling us what's the truth and what's not. This is the mind frame of liberals right here. They would rather Big Brother telling us what the truth is than we saying, let me decide.
Allegedly, Zuckerberg will be putting in some sort of community notes feature, much like X has. Zuckerberg will also be working with Donald Trump to, quote, end censorship completely.
Oh, God. If you mention Trump, anything dealing with Trump, now he's sold out, he's MAGA first, he's this and that. But I will say, I like what he's saying.
Meaning that there will not be topic restrictions. Again, this is unsurprising news. We did expect.
It won't be topic restrictions. We don't want the ability to talk about anything we want. We want to be treated like kids. And we want all the crazy topics that we embrace and talk about and support. That we want to be able to do that. And what we like to talk about is the injustice of indigenous people. And of course, we're pro-abortion and all the crazy radical things we believe in, and women's reproductive rights in a positive way. We also want to be able to talk about children with the affirming care, the gender affirming care. We want to talk about that. And if anybody gets on the internet and listens or see us talking about it and says, "What the heck are y'all talking about? You want to do what to the kids?" We want the establishment to come in and shut that down because we don't like debate. We don't like people disagreeing with us. So let us talk about whatever we want to talk about, but shut anybody else down that opposes it.
To start seeing things like this, but it is very important now more than ever that you do your fact checking for yourself, because
boy, that drives me crazy. That doing your fact checking when you start going up like everything's a question. Doing your fact checking, like for yourself. Of course, for yourself. Liberal brain, man. Liberal brain. So wait, I don't want to do the fact checking for myself. I need somebody else to do the fact check. Excuse me. Could you tell me if this is true or not? No, I don't need to study. I just trust whatever you studied and your information is true. There you go. Boy, they're airheads. Airheads, man.
Because we won't have that anymore.
Mark Zuckerberg just made a big announcement that basically he's sold out.
Sold out. He sold out by allowing us to talk about things we want to talk about. He sold out by letting us have freedom of speech.
That Meta platforms are turning into X platforms in terms of how they regulate content. Wonderful. Not only that, he's moving all of the content regulation side of the business. He's moving it out of California to Texas so that people aren't worried that it's bias.
Do you hear? She don't even hear what she's saying. They're not able to really internalize, like, wait, but what am I supporting? Why am I upset with this? I mean, it goes to show that if liberals ran the world, we would be in trouble. This is perfectly acceptable to censor people. It is perfectly acceptable to be biased. That they think long as we are in power and we support our positions, everybody else should be quiet, and they're wrong. We shouldn't have to listen to them, tolerate them, respect them. None of that. But here she is mad about this stuff. And I'm going, you don't even know what you're saying.
Because if you're in California, then you must be biased. Oh, God. So basically, they're doing away with fact checking entirely. They're going to have community notes.
Why would you like fact checking? Why would you like community notes? These people like being controlled. It's crazy to me. I mean, this is fascinating, but it goes to show the liberal brain. They enjoy it. They're like more government, more censorship, more, long as you're on the side of the censorer. But as soon as, you say something out of line, now all of a sudden you're going, now wait a minute. I should be able to say what I want when I was talking about women's reproductive rights, but now I want to talk about this and you're telling me to shut my mouth. This is ridiculous. This is I got the Second Amendment, First Amendment. No. You went ahead and was okay with giving that up when you thought it would only apply to those white nationalist Trump supporters. Yeah, all the censorship goes in that direction. Yeah, all the fact checkers, they check them, not us. So here she is complaining about we ain't got no more fact checkers.
Just like X, he basically said in the video that, you know, he took notes from Elon. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Now, here. These people are so childlike in their thinking. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, these people feel as if, as an adult, being on a social media platform, you will be forced to believe things you don't believe. You will be forced to watch things you don't want to watch. You'll be forced to participate in conversations that you don't agree with. Yeah. See, that's how they're proposing this. That's their approach. Just knowing it's happening on the platform, it bothers me, that knowing that. And I'm going, you usually probably jump in your own echo chamber. You can talk to your friends. You can block whomever you want. You can ignore whatever you want. You don't have to watch whatever you don't want to watch. Listen to what you don't want to listen to. But y'all just got a problem knowing that it's possible that happened. Y'all act like y'all are kids and can't control what you do, what you watch, what you think. You're acting as if you can't make adult choices and go, man, I don't want to watch that. I do it all the time. Stuff gets posted, videos pop up, and I go, click, click. I don't go, well, I better watch this. It's going to make me mad, but I have to. It's unreal the way they think. This is how they think.
This is really bad.
It's really bad.
I already see some of the worst shit I've ever seen on the Meta platform.
And you were just forced to watch it.
And
forced.
None of the right stuff gets taken down. I'll give you a perfect example. I saw a video on Facebook of the New Orleans tragedy. No censor, no nothing. Like I was...
And just had to watch it.
It came up in my feed without my consent. I saw all the blood. I saw the bodies that were... It was awful. It was one of the most horrible videos I've ever seen.
And it was stuck to the TV. Had to watch it. Darn it. This is horrible. I can't believe they're forcing me to watch this. This is now, everybody was telling me how bad the video was with the lady that got burned alive. There was videos out there that would show it uncut. I don't want to see it. I'm going, man, you know what? I know she got burned alive. That's horrible. I don't even want to watch it. I know what it would look like. I can imagine. Nobody, I'm not going to sit back and say, take it off the internet. Because if I don't want to watch it, then nobody should be able to watch it. If people wanted to see it, they saw it. People who didn't want to see it, didn't see it. So I guess when that popped up, she had no choice. It's greater than me. Darn it. Where's my fact checkers? Where's the censors? And see what they got me doing? They got me watching this stuff.
On the internet since you accidentally used to download really bad shit on LimeWire.
Implications of this policy change, to me, this is Mark Zuckerberg completing his total surrender to Donald Trump.
Or growing a pair of testes, or hitching his wagon to the winners. That's what it could be. Maybe he got a hot dose of testosterone injection, but now all of a sudden it comes down to Donald Trump. See, they see everything through the lens of Trump. There it is. It could be great, but if it's anything mentioned connected to Trump, immediately they're like, oh, it must be bad. It can't be just a good ideal and policy that you're going, man, whether it's Trump or not, I don't want to be censored. Okay, so that's good. I might not like Trump, but I do like this idea of going after censorship. But he's going to surrender to Trump.
Remember, a few weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, then proceeded to have Meta donate $1 million to Donald Trump's inaugural fund, and then replaced Meta's global policy chief, who was a liberal, with a Republican. So it's no coincidence that after all of that, Mark Zuckerberg has decided to now remove fact-checking from the website, which obviously serves to benefit Donald Trump.
Yeah, just Donald Trump. Obviously serves to benefit Donald Trump. See, this is a mind that is suffering from TDS. Everything is Donald Trump. He don't even realize Donald Trump only got 4 more years. I mean, you would think Trump was going to be able to run again and use these platforms just to... So everything they do and say and think is through the lens of Trump. How does this benefit Trump? Not how it might hurt me if they censor. Not how it might benefit the rest of Americans who say, man, I ain't got nothing to do with Trump. I don't want to be censored. I ain't talking about Trump online. I'm talking about whatever. And yet they censoring me too. But this idiot calling for it. That benefits Trump, so let's censor everybody.
A man who spread 30,000 plus lies.
Now see, there it is. That guy right there done drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah. He's saying and using disinformation right now as he's talking about more fact checkers is good. And yet he's talking about spare 30,000. Who've been saying that? The Democrats and the fake news. They told him that Trump has spread 30,000 lies, and he just gets right out there and said,
during his first term, and who relied on lies and disinformation to win again in 2000.
And to win again, this guy right here needs to be fact checked. See, that's the crazy part about these liberals. He don't realize. I'm like, what information you talking about? The Trump lie?
24. So I guess, yeah, Meta just completely surrendered to Donald Trump.
And you surrendered to stupidity. So let's hear it from Zuck before we go. What's up with Zuck? Look at him trying to look all kind of buff. Got him a little white man's Jerry curl. Let's hear what he's talking about.
Hey, everyone. I want to talk about something important today.
Okay.
Because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, I like that.
I started building social media to give people a voice.
Yeah.
I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression. And I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years.
Sure have.
There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more.
Yeah, and you know why? Because they're using it for political purposes. Yeah, social engineering and controlling people and political purposes. See, that's why they push for more and more censorship. And because they realized that this political climate then got hot and people were no longer just distracted by the cat videos and distracted by arguing about stupid stuff. When they start going political and they start saying this is impacting the political landscape now, we need control of this mess. We wanted them being distracted talking about stupid stuff that's going on in Hollywood. But now they're using these platforms to call us out, to expose us, to point out our hypocrisy. And we're losing control of them. So now we got to go and muscle these folks, whether they want to or not, because some of these platform leaders, they agree with all of this globalism and stuff. That's why they just bend the knee so quickly when the government steps in and say, let us go ahead and get some censorship going. Okay, yeah, I don't like these white nationalists on my platform either. But when you have somebody who's going, man, I guess we should cooperate with them. I mean, they're trying to say that okay, the FBI's now involved. So now they had to go ahead and try to take back the narrative by using these platforms that got out of control.
A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes.
Oh.
Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people.
Absolutely. And that's the problem with fact checkers. Okay. First of all, most fact checkers are being paid to fact check anything that's true. All right, let me go ahead and try to dilute the truth and promote the lies and call that fact checking. Nobody should have that title. Who are you to be deemed a fact checker? Who are you to be able to determine what is dis and misinformation? Where did you go to school to get that degree? So, yeah, we don't need those people in the midst of the conversation.
And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship.
Yeah.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
Oh,
so we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
Look at this. My man's sticking his little chest out, and he's talking real good. He done been Trumpified. He done went down to Mar-a-Lago, and Trump probably grabbed him by that chain around his neck and said, now listen here, man. Okay, stop hanging out and supporting these stupid people. Okay? Yeah. You want some balls? Somebody go get this guy some balls. Okay? And now he's hanging out with Dana, going to some UFC places, and he put Dana on his board. Now, you know Dana White ain't gonna sit back and let them push all this stuff that's crazy and censoring people on that board. So look at him. I'm proud of him for now. unless he do something crazy later.
More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
That's what I'm talking about.
After Trump first got elected in 2016,
people lost their mind.
Legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy.
They sure did. Now, he's really going to get in trouble, y'all, because now he's actually identifying the problem. He's laying it down accurately like we all saw it. He ain't misinterpreting right about now what we all saw take place and what they're up to. That's why I appreciate this. You got to recognize the truth. Whether he wrote this or somebody told him, here's the problem, Zuck. But what he's describing is accurate to justify why he's doing what he's doing now.
We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
Okay.
Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse.
Ooh, so now he also is checking the current. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. People reject wokeness and all this stuff, transgender stuff. Okay, so if that's not in touch with the people, we're fighting against the people. We're trying to swim upstream because the people are going, dude, what? Why are you fact checking this stuff, man? You know, you don't realize this is crazy. So now he feels it's safe to come out. He's like, phew, I had to check the climate. All right, everybody's going this direction. Okay, cool. That's not in touch with the climate, which I give him credit. He's recognizing the culture. He's recognizing what the people are saying. We don't want that crap, man. Wokeness will lead to brokenness. Okay. We don't want to be a joke because we woke. So now he's even bringing that. Ooh, you know, the transgender and gay community going to flip out. They're going to flip out and all pretend that they're going to get off Facebook. We're getting off Facebook until you make sure people recognize our genders. Mark Zuckerberg.
What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms.
Wow.
Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms.
What?
We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations.
Like the real stuff, like the FBI should be doing instead of, spending the night at Facebook trying to figure out who they can censor, showing up at y'all meetings. Yeah, spend their time actually going after terrorists and crooks and stuff like that. But instead, they spent their time, chasing around J6ers, and also they spent their time censoring folks and going after grandmothers and stuff. Yeah. So now you're about to get back to the fundamentals and say, we're going to focus on real issues. If you up here trying to do some trafficking, selling drugs, yes. Other than that, don't be coming to me whining, talking about this person misgendered me. I want them removed from the internet. What you gonna do about it? I want to know. No, I'm not leaving. I want to know what you gonna do. I want you to make this person go ahead and type on his page that I am so sorry that I misgendered this person right here. So yeah, he's not on that anymore. Don't come whining with the silly stuff. Yeah, you come to me talking about there's a drug deal going on. Yeah, we might report that. But besides that, stop whining. Get back in the game.
And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't.
They do.
So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platform.
And the left don't like that. Yeah, man. Hey, he better watch it. Yeah, in a minute, the media and the Democrats going to be coming after him like they did Elon. They're going to be like, man, you know what? You're giving up another one of our co-opted platforms. You can't do that. So now you're a white nationalist, Mark Zuckerberg. Right now, you're a fascist. Right now, it's just a matter of time before he ends up becoming a Russian agent.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content.
What?
The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down.
Wow. Now look at that. Boy, I tell you, this is refreshing. Because really, whatever his intentions are, but he is talking truth. but it gives a black eye to the left. It's one more way of pushing back against this woke stuff. And then he's going to bring up something that I mentioned I've been saying this a couple weeks now, dealing with other countries that are emboldened to censor their citizens and then got the nerve to feel emboldened enough to try to impose that censorship on American business owners like Elon. So I've been saying, we need to go ahead and say which countries are so-called allies and supports democracy and freedom. What are these countries doing with the censorship? Maybe we should limit our interaction with y'all. And look what came up.
Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again.
Oh,
so we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive.
I might be switching platforms, y'all. I got to figure out now how to monetize Facebook and Instagram. Okay, since they're going to be going ahead and letting content go. We're going to see, though. We're going to see. And then he's about to tick everybody off. Watch this.
Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California.
Woke.
And our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
Yeah.
As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams.
Wow.
Finally, we're going to work with President Trump.
Who got hold to this guy? He must have sat down with Elon and Trump, and they said, man, what are you doing? Are you going to allow these woke folk to contribute to the downfall of our freedom and what America stands for? Are you going to hitch your wagon to us, get brave, grow up, stick your chest out, man out, and get in a fight? Yeah, the Dana White must have grabbed him by the collar and put him in a rear naked choke and said, dude, if you give in to the woke folk, it's going to eventually just unravel our society. Now, I hope somebody take their butt over to YouTube and say, did you hear what I had said? Did you hear what I had said? Y'all need to get on board with this too. Lying to Kevin from Kevin's Corner. Nah, we don't do no suppression of videos and censorship. Not us.
To push back on governments around the world, they're going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
I just said that. Yes. See, because if it's just Elon, these countries have been saying, it's him. He shouldn't have that much power. The richest man in the world abusing this platform. He's allowing our people in our country to have freedom of speech and freedom of expression. That's what he's doing. So therefore, he's a criminal in our country. No. What are y'all talking about down in Australia or in England or in Ireland? Getting mad at Elon Musk because he got a platform and y'all want censorship for your people. But you know, they take their lead from who?
The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down.
So you see there, Trump and him winning is setting the tone. Setting the tone. See, you see all these other countries, like right now, Canada blew out. If Biden would have won or Kamala would have won, I think the man chicken would still be in business. I think Canada would have said, oh, okay, it's safe to still be woke. And all right, that must be confirming that we were on the right path. But I think to see what's taking place in our country, other countries, other leaders, and other citizens in those countries are starting to say, we were right. Americans see this crap too. We are on the wrong path. Why don't we push it back against this wokeness? And you see it starting to spread across the globe, man. And so if America takes a stance against this wokeness and stop even kowtowing to these other countries that got the nerve to want to stick their hands in our business over here and implement censorship, then other countries will start saying, we need to play ball too. We don't want to be out there. So let's finish with Mark Zuckerberg, who apparently done fell and bumped his head in a good way.
China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government.
Yes.
And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship.
Oh, you better hush up, boy. He's calling out the government for participating in the censorship that they said, no, We don't do that. The FBI, no. The fake news, no. The Biden administration, no. And he's calling them out. You know what? There's no going back from that, Zuck. What's up, Zuck? No going back from that. You better be lucky they out of power or you would get the hush up, boy.
By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
Well, we shall see. I do know this. Without the win of Donald Trump, that man wouldn't have been sitting in that chair saying that. I do know that. Yeah. Without the win of Donald Trump, Elon Musk would be out there on an island by himself trying to hold it down when it comes down to freedom of speech, and it would have done nothing but embolden not only our government to go after him even more, but other countries to go after him. And I guarantee you, you wouldn't have had Zuck or any of the rest of them stepping up to his defense. If they would have saw that, oh, shoot, we might get in trouble. They won. Man, I might want to go ahead and say, we're going to fight against what the government is trying to implement. But I don't think they had the testes to do it. That's why Elon Musk gets the credit. He had the testes to do it and put his money where his mouth was, even in spite of it being a potential bad investment. So he gets the real credit. Right now I'm saying I'm glad that I'm hearing this from him, and I hope he follows through with this. But you'll never be in the category of the pioneer that stepped out and did it when it wasn't popular and when it was dangerous. See, so we'll see. We're going to see. I hope he follows through, and I hope it puts the pressure on other platforms that are woke and still censoring to finally say, why are we doing this? We ain't got to do this, man. So we'll see. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Don't forget to text MAGA to that number on the screen, 330-974-4607. And please, if you want to support the channel, you can send money through my Cash App or PayPal. And you can also just check out Kevin's Corner Store. But you can do other things too, like subscribe to my alternative channel. Like my videos. Make sure your notification buttons are on. And continue to watch me live, because I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thank you very much. All the compliments. God bless y'all. God bless America. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I got to get some nourishment and then hit the sack. That's where it's at. Oh, yeah.
This is awesome.
Tear up the place, yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.